Hi, I'm Dave Willet from MotoHead, and we're here today with our 2017 Honda long-termer. First of all, we've added some more oil to the forks. That's just basically to lift it up a tad, just at the front, just as I felt that it was driving a little bit nose heavy. So when you was coming into the turn, it was just dipping just a little bit. Also, when you come off a couple of the jumps, the flat landers, you know, it would just sink and blow through the stroke to the bottom. I've got to stress, it was to the bottom, a little bit too fast. And also touching. So rather than change the clickers a lot, which I did, I changed the clickers and messed about with those. But I found that basically just going back to the, you know, across the board on the clickers and adding a little bit of more oil, that really did help. Just kept the balance just that little bit more when you was coming into the turn. I don't mean initially. I just mean when you come into the turn and just get that little dip. It just, you know, just ironed that out. We've been playing about with the gearing. The gearing on this bike at the moment is a 49, but we have been mixing between a 50 and a 51. We have gone that high up, but really probably 50's key. You want to keep it to a 50 rear sprocket, and that just basically just takes away a little bit of that drag. The second gear becomes a little bit lively, and also third gear comes into play and has the strength a lot more along them sweepers. On most of the turns, you can keep it in third, you know, and let the engine labour out of the turn, which is only for a short while due to the response now that this bike's got. In the US they have the airbox open, but when it comes to the UK or Europe, I believe that they have the flaps which are removable and you can remove. But when you do remove them, the noise does go up. So you tend to find that in the US they don't have the blockers, which is situated here just on the side panel. And what happens when you remove these blockers in the UK or in Europe is basically the airflow is a hell of a lot better. That's so noticeable. Even when you've got the bike on the stand and you rev it, you know, you can really feel it just rev through the range instantly. It picks up so much faster, and that echoes out on track as well. So it just makes it a little bit more fun to ride. Also on mine, I've got some DEP pipes. We've been testing quite a few DEP pipes of late. We started off with production. Well, we started off with standard, then we moved to his production. Then also we started messing about with, you know, some midsections and silencers. I'm quite happy with the system that I've got at the moment. It's production front and midsection, but the silencers are a little bit different. And what that does is that just echoes what I was just saying before. Really, it just gives it that little bit more response. Not that it needs it, to be honest, the Honda, because it is lively this year, but what that allows me to do is it just allows me to hold that gear that little bit longer, and just, you know, when you push into the face of the jumps and you want that little bit of snap, it does that. Yeah, when you do remove the side vents from the airbox and you put an aftermarket pipe on, what I was finding as well is, especially with this one and how I like it, is that you've got more free roll. So when you come into the turn and you roll off the throttle, it's not an instant drag, and you've just basically, it just gives you that little bit more roll. And when I was testing the pipes back to back, you know, some bikes, they offered more back pressure. When there was more back pressure, then basically when you did roll off the throttle, that's what would happen. The bike would drag just that little bit. It also messed a little bit up with my braking and timing, to be honest. Yeah, so we've tried some different pipes of late, and basically what I found from there is not just that they offer a better performance and also more brake horsepower, but the other factor that you've got to take into account is engine braking and lag. And when I've been coming into the corners, what I've found is throughout the systems that some offer more back pressure, and what happens then is that when you roll off the throttle, the bike actually drags and slows itself down, and some of the other ones don't do that or don't offer that, which I quite like, to be honest, because then you rely a little bit on your brakes. And then when you come out of the turn, if the response and the power's right, you know, that's got to be right and tick that box, which I believe the system behind me, you know, it does that, and it's perfect for my style, to be honest. Unfortunately, one of the major faults that I feel on Honda standard clamps is the fact that they're rubber grommets. You know, they move too easy when you fall off, and the standard bars just aren't quite up to the scratch these days. You know, with the weight of the bike and the speed of the tracks, and when you do fall off, you are bending a set of those bars. So I've gone straight for the twin wall bars. I've got a different set of triple clamps on my bike. So, you know, when you do make a mistake or fall off, you know, everything's not moving, and it's not moving out of place. So you haven't got to come up and adjust it or worry about it. And you certainly don't have to go back to the van and adjust them or loosen up to put the grommets back in place, or even to replace them, because on these triple clamps they're a lot better. All in all, so far, the 2017 bike, it's still a game changer in my opinion. I love the bike, I love riding it. You know, it's real fun. Every time that I get on it, it does feel that it's a little bit more, it feels a little bit more modern, a little bit more ahead of the game, to be honest. Yes, it is a little bit heavier, and we have stated this before, but you don't feel that when you're riding around on the track, you know. It really does feel good out on track and flickable. That mass centralisation that, you know, that Honda have, that they've always been preaching about, they have got it right. You know, and it does show on track. When you're riding around on the track and you want to place it in them lines, you can. It is not a problem, and you know, that's what I like about the Honda. You know, it never feels that you're overriding it, or maybe let me rephrase that. Maybe you can override it, but the bottom line is that you can go where you feel you need to go around the track. So when you do want to move, you know, you can. The options are there, which is one of the things that I really do like about this bike.